back out here for day 2 at Quinn Caterpillar, back with Craig Henderson, parts manager here at Quinn Caterpillar. And last time we were here, we saw the service bay, we saw the front dealer side of it where people come in and order parts and talk to you guys about sales. We saw the service bay, we saw the massive D11 and just how insane it is, how big of machinery you guys service. And I know you mentioned last time the machines don't wear out, but their parts do.
Yes.
And you mentioned something about the tracks. I'm looking here, I don't think these tracks are nearly as large as the ones we saw last time.
They are not.
But, I mean, is this an example of, tracks can be pulled off and put on, and what are the different parts that have to be replaced on these?
This is a great representation. So you can see here, again, using the analogy of a bicycle chain, you can see the chain portion underneath, and then this is a shoe. So this is a portion that goes in the dirt, and this comes off. So maybe on this one it looks worn, so we might replace the shoe, but the track is okay, or vice versa. The point is that it can be disassembled, put back together like new, depending on the application, because sometimes these need to be higher, what have you. The pins can be replaced, turned, and then be put back together and back on the machine so it can do what it's supposed to do.
So I take it there's a special machine or someone who does this, specifically only works on tracks or this application, is that right?
Yeah, and we'll have the opportunity to see the track press, go in the fabrication shop and see how they do that. It's loud, it's very loud, but it's really neat how they're able to take this and again rebuild it so it can go back on a machine and be back in the dirt.
Well, perfect, let's go inside and check it out.
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah, so in here we will do fabrication, we'll do welding, and then also the track presses in here as well. So we talked about how we take the track apart, either put new pins or shoes and things like that. The track press, the machine that does that work, is in this facility as well.
Okay, so I mean, when you say a track press, I mean, I think of someone running on a track. So we're talking about the track that goes on the bulldozer that allows it to travel on the earth.
Correct. Yes.
So when you take that apart, I mean, do you have to take the whole thing apart? Can you take off one piece at a time? Or when you guys do it, is it more efficient to just redo the entire track?
Most of the time they will do the entire thing. There could be applications maybe where it's just pieces or parts, but most of the time it's going to be, since they have it off, they're going to do the majority of it.
What do you need to do if a shoe is maybe too short or something else like the shank on the D11 that goes into the earth 8 feet down, and eventually that thing's got to have some wear and tear. You guys, you mentioned being able to service it. What do you do to service it?
So they put a product called tungsten on it, and we have a tungsten bench. We have a couple machines that actually put that material on the metal to make it last longer. Also, they may need to do some welding. They may need to change the diameter or change the pieces or parts themselves. But for the most part, they're going to add material to it so that material will wear rather than the part.
Awesome. And you also mentioned some welding. I think when people think of welding, they think of the oil field, but they also don't realize that you weld metal together. I mean, is that stronger sometimes than just a nut and a bolt? Or do you use them in tandem? How does that play into this?
It can be that the machine's actually broken. So sometimes because of the environment that they're in, the tractor or the machine will break and they'll weld it. Sometimes they'll add gussets or things to the machine to make it stronger. There might be an update to make it stronger. And then sometimes it's just to fabricate, like we saw on the D11, that engine was larger. It did not fit in that machine, so they had to fabricate the hood for it. That's done here as well.
So that was all done in here. If you have to build something from scratch that's never been done before, this is the place for it.
Yes.
So where does everything come from to make all this? If it's not fabricated, I'm sure it has to come from somewhere. So when we come back, I'll send you guys in the studio. But when we come back, we'll try to find out where do these parts get stored. And so until then, back to you guys in the studio.